How were the holidays? Oh yeah, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Yes. They were good for me. How were they for you?
Just been working, played two Christmas shows, and the family's coming later between the years, so nothing much
Okay.
going on, but just a little bit.
So now it's kind of time to relax a little bit, and then the family will show up, and you'll be like, "Oh shit."
Yeah, there's I work in a bar here in Berlin, so there's gonna be two more shifts and then a little party for New Year's Eve, and that's it for the year.
Rock and roll. That's like I'm not a big partier, but this weekend we're going up by Chicago to go see Mastodon play like their last US show for the year.
Oh, sweet.
So I'm really excited for that. Obviously, I fucking love Mastodon. I think they're just a tremendous live band.
Yeah.
And my wife is on board with it, which is like, yes.
But is that something they do every year, or is it just they're on tour and this is just the last show?
Yeah, I think I think they just did some Europe stuff, and then they're doing like one more show in the States, and then going to like South America or something.
Ah, okay, didn't see that. But yeah, also I haven't didn't manage to see them live yet, so it's on the
Uh,
it's on the list.
great.
Or just like just 10 minutes somewhere at a festival, I think. Somewhere
Uh,
with Gojira, maybe? I forgot.
yeah, yeah, they just toured with Gojira
Oh, that was that tour.
uh
Yeah, right. I
last
think we were
year.
in the
Yep.
US for that, but not the
Uh,
whole show.
no, you guys probably crossed paths because I think you all were on tour with Tool at the time um as they were like starting. You were finishing up the Tool tour, and they were finished starting their tour. I think that's how that worked.
Yeah, on that tour, I met the because we played Atlanta. I think that's where they all live, probably.
Yep.
I met the guitar player Bill. I
Bill
think
Kelleher.
the yeah, exactly. Yeah, I met him at the show, and but the others, I don't know.
They'll pop up here and there, and you'll be like, "Oh yeah, hey, what's up?"
Probably. I mean, they
It'll be.
won't know me, but good,
I I
good band.
think you would. I think you would be surprised.
I mean,
A lot.
nobody, nobody
So many.
recognizes the drummer.
That's that's not true. That is not true.
I mean, other drummers, but
But you're saying not you, huh?
not really. I mean, it is fun because after an Elder show, there's like a million people want to talk to Nick about his guitar settings and pedals and stuff, and there's like
Yeah.
two drummers that recognize me, and I have a drink with them, and it's
You're
fun.
like, yeah. Off to the side. You deal with the crowd. I'm having fun over
Yeah,
here.
just chilling because
Yeah.
like I'm in the back. It's usually dark, so
Yeah,
it's
but
fine.
I think a lot of people don't realize like in a band, every single member holds a very important part of that band. If one of those people is not up to speed with the rest of the band, it's just going to fall apart and not be as good as it should be.
That's the ideal situation. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Like you guys fucking crush. So,
Thank you. I mean,
uh, so you guys have the Lore 10th anniversary coming up next year. You're touring, gonna do the States and Europe.
yeah.
And are you guys obviously you're gonna play the album in full. Are you gonna do start to finish, like front to back as it's laid out on album?
Yeah, probably. We talked about changing some smaller stuff, but I would guess we just play the whole thing as it is on the record, and then we'll see if we can add some stuff or jam a part out or change a little something because these songs are quite old by now,
Yeah.
and they've evolved over time. Um, Even before I came into the band, and there's stuff that's been done differently, and I think Deadweight hasn't been played in ages, so it's going to be exciting because I've never played that live to see what we can do with that one. And yeah, but the rest we haven't decided yet what else we're going to do. But that record in its entirety, and then we'll see.
That'll be a lot of fun. I think, with Compendium, it's going to start the show off like really fucking good. That it's a just a
Yeah, it's a good
solid way
opener.
to, yeah, get everyone's like blood pumping. Like, let's do some things.
Yeah, or I don't know, maybe add something before that. I think I've seen Opeth play. Oh, was it Ghost Reveries in its entirety? And they
Mm.
started with I think a newer track, uh, just to get people warmed up, and then like track number two or three, they started playing the record, and everybody was warmed up. Might also be a good idea, but we'll see.
Could be. You guys go see Elder on tour. Um, Hopefully. So I know you guys are playing like you're not playing Louisville, which is where I live, but you've got a couple of semi-close shows like Nashville, Columbus, Detroit, Chicago, Atlanta.
Yep.
I'd really like for you guys to come play Louisville, but I get it. I
Yeah. How far is that for you?
So Nashville's about 2.5 hours.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, I'm not from the U.S. I'm still learning
Yeah.
the
No.
distances.
Yeah.
I'm always amazed how far people drive to see shows there because here or when you live in a bigger city, there's usually bands every week.
Yeah.
But if you play or if you live somewhere out in the sticks, it's kind of hard to get to shows.
Yeah.
There was one. Oh, where was that? I think when we played Fargo or something, there was one dude or somewhere up there in that area or maybe Milwaukee. One dude came from Montana. He traveled like 13 hours to see a show.
Yep.
That was crazy.
Yeah. I
It's
I've flown from East Coast to West Coast to go to a show.
yeah,
Like you do what you've got to do, I guess.
yeah. But for what bands did you see?
So one of my favorites is this band Spotlights. They're a smaller band, but they were playing with Mr. Bungle and the Melvins
Ah,
out in
nice.
LA, and I was like, I think that'll be a good birthday show.
Yeah,
Off we went. So it was a lot of fun. Uh,
yeah,
but like I'm in this market, Louisville's it's a great market for it's a great market for locals and independents, but you know when you look at larger touring bands, there are better markets close to us that are going to have that are going to fuck up that distance clause, like
yeah,
Nashville is. I mean, that's pretty close to 2.5 hours.
yeah. That's always a thing. I mean, I didn't, because it's so different here. Because in Europe, every city is like it's like 2 or 3 hour drive to the next bigger city.
Yeah,
So you don't really have that. But it's like I'm not booking shows in the US. I don't know exactly how
right.
that like how these clauses work. Um, but it's like unfortunately now always necessary to think about like the economics. Like, okay, we have to like drive further so more people might come and all of that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of factors that go into it and obviously, being here, I like being here because it's close to a lot of larger markets. So if they're not hitting Louisville, they're going to hit Cincinnati, Columbus, Chicago,
yeah,
Detroit, Nashville, Knoxville, all of these areas. And I'm not afraid to make a little drive. Like um, Mastodon on Saturday is 4.5 hours, I think.
but you're not driving that back during the night, or
No,
oh, okay, good.
no, we're gonna go up and my wife wants to go to Chicago, so we'll go do a little bit in Chicago and then go have dinner and then go to the show. And I don't drink,
Sweet,
so I won't be hungover on Sunday, so I'll be driving home. All right.
nice.
So what got you into playing drums?
Uh, oh, my parents. Because I was I think 10, and my best friend growing up, he just started taking piano lessons. And my parents were like, don't you also want to learn an instrument? And I was like, drums. Sounds fun. Like, don't really need to learn sheet reading and all of that. But
Yeah.
of course, that's the first thing you learn. So, like the first 2 years, I think I was really struggling because I imagined something else. And then it's like going to school and learning sheet reading and rudiments and all of
Yeah.
that. But I had a good teacher who was patient, and I could just like figure it out in my own time. And then when I was 13, maybe discovering the record collection of your parents, you then like get a feeling for what you can do with that. And I remember seeing, I think my parents had a Led Zeppelin live DVD and watching that, and just like the first time thinking, oh, I can do this if I
Yeah.
practice. Then okay, now I'm gonna practice. So that took like 2 or 3 years until I really got going, but it was good just that I did something before, so I had the foundations, so it was a little easier.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, and then it just got just a slow build up, got more and more, played more and more shows, and then all of a sudden we played Madison Square Garden. It's kind of crazy. It's a bit wild, but yeah, nothing
Yeah.
too special. Just seeing local bands around the time I graduated. That was a big motivation to keep going. Uh, yeah, and I met some really cool drummers who were nice enough to talk to like a young dork. Um, and then you can see yourself doing that if you have these people, and you like if you start out and you don't know any direction, you just want to play drums, and like faster and louder is fun. But apart from that, you don't have a sense of like how this is going to work or what you need to do. And that was good, like talking to other drummers who've been on tour. Yeah, got lucky, met a bunch of good dudes.
Yeah. Learn well, and I think that's one of the cool things about like other musicians, right? When you get together and even if you click just a little bit, you start, oh, what about this? And like
Yeah,
just try to learn and share, and it kind of helps perpetuate the industry, so to speak.
yeah, yeah. Especially with or the smaller shows were good for that, where you can actually talk to these guys. They
Yeah.
would just hang out at the bar afterwards, and you can just like chat them up, and it would be cool to talk drums for you with you for a while. And yeah, that was just got really lucky, met the right people.
I don't know about lucky. I think it's, you maybe you didn't have that goal of, oh, I'm gonna, play drums professionally, but it's
Yeah, I mean, there's still, I mean, if like apart from all the practicing stuff and figuring out how to play, it's still so much luck involved. Like just meeting the right people for a band, like having the right teacher, seeing the right bands, like being at the right time in the at the right place in the right time. And I definitely got lucky with that, because without like, for example, meeting John Paul Gaster from Clutch, I met him at a show that was just when I started, I think, my first proper band, and just like have like being able to talk to him about that was really good, because otherwise I would just, I mean, I would still be doing that, but that was definitely a big
motivator.
influence.
Yeah.
Yeah, and motivator.
That's cool. Do you remember like what that conversation revolved around?
That was I don't know. Do you know drums a little, or just
A little bit. Not like
there's
I'm
like
not
these
super
these
nerdy about it, but
yeah, no, don't worry. There's rudiments, like these little things you do with your hands.
mhm.
The technique stuff, and there's one exercise where you have all the things you can do with your hands in one exercise uh, that you memorize, and it's like 15 minutes. And if you play everything back to back, and that's a good warm up. And I was learning that one at the time, and I got to the venue earlier in the afternoon, and I was outside practicing that. And then the bus stops right in front of me, and the drummer comes out. He's like, "Oh, hey, what are you practicing?" And I show him the book, and he's like, "Oh, that's the same stuff my teacher taught me." And then he came out after sound check with his pad, and we went through a couple of rudiments together. Stuff like this. So
that's really cool for him to take the time and come
yeah,
and do that. Like
yeah, yeah, really
that's
good.
yeah, that drummers, I think, a lot of drummers that I know, they share so much with technique, hand technique, foot technique,
Yeah,
etc. And it's nice to see that, like, sharing. And, oh, you don't know that? Here, let me teach you. Or, hey, how do I get better with this? Oh, let me teach you that, right? Which is really, really fucking cool.
oh yeah, yeah. It's just so much to learn there. It's kind of
Yeah. Do you
still.
feel like you're still like learning a lot as a drummer?
Oh yeah, like all the time. There's, I mean, just outside of the genres that I play, there's so much like of other types of music to check out, and then technique in its own. There's like, I don't know. I'm trying to take some lessons with another uh not childhood hero, but another drummer that I liked from that time when I first went to shows, and he is just so good at playing powerful but being relaxed. Like you don't, like if
Hmm.
you see him play, you wouldn't know how loud he is, but seeing him live, it's crazy, and he's the most relaxed dude ever. And like, and then you hit these guys up for lessons, and they tell you a little bit how they approach technique, and it might be different from other people you talk to, and then you piece everything together for yourself, and that's fun. But that's still ongoing. I don't know if that will ever stop. Uh, like if that learning experience will ever stop.
I don't think it does. That's what sets I don't know. So like I don't want to say the professional apart from the amateur, but like the people who are really into the instrument they're playing, it's an constant evolution of learning,
Yeah,
you know?
I mean it's also fine if you have a goal and you want to do that, and then you're done with it.
Sure.
it like everybody, that's a cool thing. You can just figure out stuff on your own and like go as far as you want.
Yeah. There's a band here called Blessed Black, and their drummer, Ray Bates. I just went and saw him a couple weeks ago. They're in Cincinnati. So drove up for the show, and I'm every time I watch him play, like you were saying, this dude is so relaxed. Like I watch Ray play, and there's like no effort behind it, but he hits hard, and he's got this groove like no other. It's so
Yeah,
fucking cool watching him play.
yeah, these guys are fun. Like people who do the simple stuff really well. That's
Yeah.
always so. Yeah, fun watching drummers.
It is. That's what I think. One of the things that really attracted me to music early on was drummers. I don't know how old you are, but I'm almost 50. So, there was obviously grew up with a lot of like Led Zeppelin was that big influence. But then
Yeah,
I was real big into thrash. So of course you had, you know, Lars, who everyone shits on, but he's Lars. Like, you know, like he I think he inspired a lot of people to play music, and Gar Samuelson
yeah,
and a lot of those like Megadeth drummers and Tom Hunting and
yeah,
all those guys for me was always like
yeah.
fuck.
Yeah, like when you start out, or for me, it was the same. Just people who played fast and loud. That was like
Yeah,
just that was fun. Wanted to do that.
yeah. Like, I can't play worth a shit, but it's fun. It's awesome. It's great watching them. Like I think I played drums for about a year, and then I was like, yeah, okay, I got other things that took my attention. Main,
Yeah,
Mainly girls. Like whatever, it's part of it.
yeah.
So who are some of the drummers now that you just like love watching play?
Um, Phew. Oh, so many. There's this dude I just saw who I'm trying to take lessons with, called Torstein Lofthus, Norwegian drummer who played in the Norwegian Shining and Elephant Nine and Red Kite, some other bands, and that's one of the dudes who like does the simple stuff really well, hits super hard, but still super elegant and just fun to watch. Um, then I just saw Oranssi Pazuzu. I don't know if you know them. Finnish psychedelic black metal band. Um, and the drum, like for that kind of music, the drummer is so chill. It's a bit like the Nick Mason of metal drumming.
Okay.
So super relaxed, or pretty or he doesn't show off or anything. He's just super laid back. That's fun to watch, especially in that kind of a band. Um, other right now. I mean, of
Like,
course,
oh
Danny
shit.
Carey.
Oh yeah.
That was fun being that close for a tour. And another friend of mine, Ingvald Vasper, another Norwegian drummer. He
Okay.
plays in Motorpsycho and Kanaan, a bunch of Norwegian bands, and that is just crazy. He's straight up a crazy drummer. Like if you can see him somewhere, watch him. You gotta.
Okay.
He's Yeah. I think there's a good live recording of Kanaan at uh where was that? Some festival in Germany. That was a good one. If you want to check him out.
Hell yeah. I do. I love finding new music and seeing awesome musicians, especially that other musicians like look at and just go, "Wow, that's fucking amazing."
Yeah.
Because what do I know? I'm not a
Yeah.
musician. I'm just a guy.
Yeah. I mean, it's still cool that it's still like that when you see people and they're great and you're like even if you like now I kind of know what other drummers are doing that was different like 10,
Yeah.
15 years ago. So now I kind of know what is going on, but it still amazes me how they're doing it. It's still fun.
Practice, like you can get
Yeah.
there one day. It's like
Yeah.
Thomas the Tank Engine, I think I can. I think I can.
Yeah. Yeah. Like some things are just sport. Just have to do that for a couple of hours every day, and then eventually you get there.
Yeah. Couple hours every day practice. I, it really takes a lot for a musician to to get to like a professional level or a level um, that they feel confident in, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of yeah. There's also that I don't know how far you get with just practice, like in terms of confidence, because I feel like a lot of like drumming, like it doesn't have to be super technical for it to
Mhm.
work in most styles. But it's like if you're not confident doing it, then it will be bad, or people will feel that, and that's kind of because I teach drums too, and that's kind of hard. Like a thing I'm struggling with. Like how do you? Because people like a lot of people can play drums, like they would be fine playing in bands, but since they feel like they haven't practiced enough or they don't have the experience, they're not confident in what they're doing, and they could be better. And like without playing shows, I still don't know how you teach that properly.
I don't,
So
so I don't know that it's even necessarily like a playing show thing, right? Like I think
yeah,
a lot of it's there's like a mental block. I think a lot of people deal with imposter syndrome,
yeah,
regardless of what level you're at. Like, do you ever have days where you deal with that?
yeah. It's like like recording myself in my rehearsal room, if I try something new, it's kind of always shit. Or you have an idea and you try that out and you play along to an idea, and it's just terrible, and or terrible, but it's not as it sounds in your head.
Yeah,
And then getting to a point where I'm ready to go on tour and like, okay, I can play this part, or at least like 9 times out of 10 I'm nailing it, so I'm fine. Um, and that was always a struggle for me because I didn't have the experience of playing. I mean, then you build up the experience playing live, and you know how that feels, and how you're dealing with that. But just from practice, it's hard for me to build up that confidence.
sure.
Like I need a show or two when I where I play that. Like when we play a new Elder track, like it takes me 2 or 3 live shows, and the first shows I always feel like I'm struggling through the song because it's not like the tempo feels different live, the feel is different, like it's louder. You feel like you have to hit harder for certain things, and then like build up a connection to these parts always takes me a while, and I'm not good at dealing with that just with practice. I mean that is a big part of it, just like being
Sure.
able to play it. But
Yeah.
then the mental thing, it's always a live thing for me. It takes a couple of shows.
Okay. I could see that. I think uh, that is the crew is kind of the same way, right? Like you're like, okay, this is how I want everything. This is how it needs to be set up. And this first couple of shows, they're like kind of fumbling over each other, and then they get it, and like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, yeah. But once you're
Uh,
there, it's great when everything is a well-oiled machine and
yeah,
just flows.
yeah. You're at a point where like everything's great. It's like, okay, tour's over. Oh shit,
Yeah,
we need another couple of weeks of this. Damn it.
yeah.
So, uh, with, obviously tours coming up in a couple of months, is there a place that you love to go and play more than the others?
You mean where I haven't been before, or where I would like to
No, just
return?
where you've been and you really enjoy.
Uh, what is fun? I don't really, I don't really care. I like just traveling is fun. There's
Yeah.
some cities that are going to be fun personally for me, like Oslo next year. There's Desert Fest there with I have a couple of friends there and some other bands that I like play there. For example, Oransi Pasuzu, that Finnish
Yeah.
psychedelic black metal whatever band. They're going to play there, so that's going to be fun. Like seeing them playing there, seeing a couple of friends, and um, there's a couple of venues on the U.S. tour. Like I think we're playing Reggie's in Chicago.
Chicago. Yep.
Do you know that place?
Yep.
It's That's a fun one. Like just a fun venue to play at. What else is there? Bunch of stuff, but
Yeah. Yeah, like you guys have
yeah, just
a you've got a lot of dates that you're doing. Obviously, you're doing the European dates, and then I don't know, a couple of weeks over here in the States that's primarily like Midwest and East Coast.
yeah.
Good
Oh,
for
there's
me.
also I think we're playing Raleigh, the Poorhouse. That was
Hmm.
also, I don't know, for some reason I like that venue always, or I've played there twice now, but for some reason these shows were always fun. Nothing special about. For some reason, good place to play.
It's special to you for some reason.
Yeah.
That's the important thing. Like what you know what tour for you just absolutely like blew your mind where you were like, man, I never thought we would do that.
Yeah. I mean, that's the Tool opening act thing. I mean, that was just wild.
Yeah.
playing arenas. Like we played like show number 2 and 3 were Madison Square Garden sold out Friday and Saturday. I mean, that's yeah. I mean, how you gonna top that?
Right.
But like apart from that obvious answer,
From
the first US tour I did with Elder was cool. That was just hard for me because that was right after, like pretty soon after COVID, and we did
Mhm.
one European tour with shorter drives, and then all of a sudden you haven't properly toured in like 2.5 years. Just some festivals in the summer, and then you're driving for like 8 hours every day.
Like, uh,
Yeah, and then I didn't want to sleep in the car too much because like I wanted to see the country, and you're driving through the Rocky Mountains, and you want to take everything in. And yeah, towards the end of that tour, I was super tired, but that was a fun one. Like getting to see the U.S., like the entire U.S. in 6 weeks. That was
super
cool.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. We did. We took the kids on a cross country trip a couple years ago, piled them in a van and like, let's go. And I thought, they're teenagers. They're gonna spend most of their time on the phone. And
yeah,
when we hit like the Rocky Mountains, they were like, "Oh my God!" They're like out taking pictures and watching. I'm like, "Oh, that's cool." I figured they'd be like, "Are we there yet?" The whole way, but
yeah,
they were at the right age for like, "This is so fucking cool."
yeah, yeah. It's yeah because you don't have, or for me as a European, that was wild because there's so much country without anything in it.
Mhm.
And here you drive for 3 hours and you're in a different country, uh, different cities, different language, different food, and there you drive for 15 hours and it's like the planes are still going on.
Yeah, yeah. You're like, "What is going on
Yeah,
here?" And there are different languages. You know, you don't know. Have I don't know. Like growing up north and going to the south, I'm like, "What are they saying?" It took me a few years to like acclimate to some of that
yeah. There's
deep
some
south talk.
yeah some things are hard, but so far, was there anything? I think it's been all right so far with like communication in the U.S. at least.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'd say it's probably not too bad. Some areas are very big, like Spanish speaking areas, and like we went to Miami this year for to go on Headbangers Boat, and I knew there was a large like Spanish speaking community. What I didn't realize is it's like 70% of Miami is Spanish speaking.
Ah, okay.
I'm like, oh, I should have absolutely paid attention to Spanish in school a little more than what I did. But
Yeah, I mean, but it's still easier than in Europe, where like so many different languages that you straight up don't understand, and then
oh yeah,
it's kind of hard to communicate if like people like don't speak English that well, and then but it's that's another challenge, but it's definitely different than in US because there everything usually works the same way.
yeah,
And
yeah.
over here it can get pretty wild if you play a basement venue in somewhere and nobody speaks English.
You're like, hope you guys like it. Awesome.
Yeah.
And I imagine the other part of that. Well, I guess now that most everywhere in like Europe deals with the euro, right?
Yeah, most of it.
Yeah,
There's
I
still
mean that.
some. Yeah, sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh no, there's just some weird spots like Switzerland right in the middle. When you go through there, that's different and all of that. But overall, it's fairly easy. I mean, now with the UK, like with Brexit, that's gotten more difficult too. But yeah, mainland Europe is usually chill.
Yeah. So since Brexit, do you guys find it harder to get into the UK and do shows there?
Yeah, there's just more paperwork you have to do, uh, carnets and all of that. Um, so it's just more work beforehand for like also like mainly the promoters and the agents and everything, just to sort out like passport stuff and all of that. And then you have to, yeah, it's just like bureaucratic stuff that you, but
Yeah,
we haven't had any troubles like getting in. Just the
that's
paperwork
good.
is it's a lot.
Yeah, I can only imagine. What's the, I guess as far as paperwork goes for you, like what's been uh the biggest challenge for places to get into?
Um, I mean, I mean, I haven't toured outside of Europe and the US, so the only place where I needed that was the US. And that was a lot the first time because you have to do an interview, and then I had to go to Frankfurt to another city for an interview because there weren't any spots open in Berlin,
Oh
and just
shit.
traveling around and doing all of that, and everything worked out. It was just like first time doing it, and you don't know what you're dealing with exactly, and you want to do everything right. That was a lot. Yeah, so that's my only experience with like getting work
Okay.
visas.
I never thought that I guess I never thought about it enough about them doing interviews, in your home country. I always figured that that was something like once you get here, they're like, okay, this is your first time. Let's get you over in the interrogation room. And
Yeah. I mean, if you're going there on holiday just with a tourist visa, that's easy. That you don't have to
yeah,
do anything special for that. They might like ask you, or they will ask you questions on the border, but it's usually just like where you're staying and all of that. But if you want to work there, you have to um like they just want to know that you're the person who applies for it and you know what you're doing and that this isn't a scam or anything. So you have to go there in person and tell them you're playing this band and all of that.
this is what I'm
Uh,
doing. Here's our promo photos. Like, see,
yeah,
I'm really me. Gosh.
yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
But
So what has been, for you, was it Madison Square Garden was like the show that you're like absolutely mind boggled with?
yeah, I mean, it was the whole tour. That wasn't really like one specific venue, and Madison Square Garden was the beginning of the tour and like still figuring out how that all works. And I had some friends and family over from Europe, so you hang out with them, and I was just running around all day, so I didn't like take it in as much as some of the other shows.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, like even the smaller arenas that you play there, it's like 8,000 people, and that's still crazy. And sometimes
Yeah.
these were more fun because you were in these were old like high school arenas for their basketball team or something
Yeah.
like that,
Yeah.
and it's from the 60s or 70s, and everything's pretty old school. And these were also fun places to check out. Yeah, but then like the big arenas, it's yeah, still wild that we we did that. Uh, Madison Square Garden, and then Staples Center, which is now Crypto something
Oh,
in LA.
is that, oh yeah, that's not Kia Forum. It's, yeah, I think you're right. It's
No,
like crypto
yeah, no,
something.
where the Lakers play.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun because we had day off before and after the LA gigs, and I went there with our driver the day before to see the Lakers play, just to scout out the place. That was fun, and then
Yeah.
seeing that like turned upside down a day later with the huge stage and everything. That was cool.
Hell yeah. Was there like when you were playing those larger venues, was there like for you like a learning curve on playing there, like how it sounded and how you played?
Yeah, like I was definitely hitting way too hard the first couple of shows. Like you don't need to do that because the PA is so
Oh, ginormous. Yeah.
yeah, and but for me because I was using in-ears and we had uh like the same in-ear mix every day, and because it's the same room, it's the same
Mhm.
board, so it's the same mix pretty much. You just tweak things a little bit, and that has been super easy. These were definitely the easiest shows I've ever played from a technical standpoint because like you just set up and the sound is amazing right off the bat, and you don't have to do much.
That's cool.
Um, yeah, but getting a feel for dynamics, it's different in an arena. Uh, yeah, first show definitely hitting way too hard because I felt like okay, this is a big room, I need to play loud. So, so I'm hitting hard, and then you see a small video or something. Is like, oh, okay, this is not necessary. The PA is sufficient.
I need
Yeah,
play regular. Okay.
yeah, or you don't have to. Like you can play more dynamically because I felt like even the quieter parts I had to play a little louder. Um, and I definitely relaxed a bit after a couple of shows, and then it got a little easier. Yeah, but that was one thing, and then like sound in the room is also different because I thought it might be the same room sound that you get back from the room in these big arenas, but it definitely makes a difference. Like if it's half full, when it's full towards the end. Didn't expect that. That was also learning experience.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I would imagine. Empty room probably echoes everywhere.
Yeah, and it gets really dry with people in there, or at least some of the venues.
Yeah.
Didn't Definitely didn't expect that.
No, like everyone's soaking up the sound. You're like,
Yeah, I
what's
mean
going on?
yeah, no, it was fine. Like with in ears and everything, everything is you're good. It's just like was just a little surprising that it made such a difference.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess I never really thought about that aspect of it, but you think
Yeah, me
about,
neither. Like when when you're thinking about like that thing, that was like not gonna
yeah,
not gonna
it's
happen
like
every day.
it's going into a house and the house having no furniture in it versus a house having furniture and people in it, right?
Yeah,
Hmm.
a little bit.
Yeah. But I mean, obviously, much grander scale than a house,
Yeah,
It's not like two couches and a love seat or anything. You're
yeah, yeah. Just with the size of it, I wouldn't have imagined that it would make such a difference for you on stage with like in ears in and PA and everything. But
Yeah,
there you go.
that's pretty cool. So, do you feel like that tour for the band really helped you guys garner quite a few new fans?
I hope so. Reception was definitely good. There was like we didn't get booed, which apparently happened to other support acts for Tool.
Yes.
So that was good.
I see.
And I think even with the announcement that we were playing with them, we did one European tour before that, when it was already announced that we would go on tour with Tool, and there were definitely not like a ton more people, but definitely a little bit an
Yeah,
uptick, and some people with Tool shirts checking out the band. That was good. But I guess we'll see when we did like another full touring cycle next year how turnout is. But I think pre-sales are pretty good, so I guess that's a good sign.
that is
Um,
definitely a good sign.
yeah. So, but I mean, you never like even if they like you there, you don't know if they will like turn up again for you if you come through again. If that
Yep.
was enough, or if it's. I mean, everything takes time. It was just like definitely the biggest opportunity, and I think we did reasonably well. So let's see
Yeah.
what
Did,
happens.
well, like, how was merch sales? How did merch sales do compared to what you thought they would do going in?
Oh, that was different every night. Like I don't remember exact numbers, but that was very like the fluctuated
Pretty
pretty
huge.
wildly. Yeah, because like we're in one like there's 4 or 5 merch booths, and we're in one of them, and then
Yeah.
it always depends where it is. Like, is it upstairs, downstairs? Are people walking past there or not? Um, like how big is the venue? How many people like are there? And all of that. But I think we did pretty, or I really didn't know what to expect, like how many people would, because tickets are already expensive. Like they want to buy Tool merch, and then like everybody who picked up a record, then I mean, I'm
Yeah.
not gonna
No,
complain about.
right. Well, and that wasn't, like did some nights do shittier? It was just I know a lot of Tool fans, honestly, they spend so much money on not
Yeah,
only the tickets but the merch, they're
yeah,
buying the drum heads and the signed poster and
yeah, yeah. So that's not the. I mean,
yeah,
what you gonna do? Like people only have so much money. They can't just like buy every merch item from every support band.
yes they can.
Good.
Yes they can.
All right, I
Get
will.
get rid of that limiting belief. They have money. They came to the show. Like they're gonna buy your stuff.
All right, we'll put up the sign next time
Yeah. Yeah.
to let them know
Make
that
sh
they
make
have the
sure
money.
you have the money. Our stuff is over here. Go. No, no, but in all seriousness, do you feel like um as far as merch sales went on that run that you guys did pretty well?
I would say so. Yeah, that was a good tour financially overall. Like as I said, there were definitely nights where we didn't sell much, but that was smaller venues, like merch
Yeah.
in a different spot, and always depends who's going to the shows. I guess like some of the crowds were younger, some older. The older people have more money, they might
Mhm.
spend more, and like if you have kids there, I wouldn't have been able to afford like a shirt for a ton of money, and then maybe like drum heads, not even that, but like and then pay for another item from the support band. Like wouldn't have
Yeah.
done that when I was 18.
No, I don't think a lot of 18-year-olds would, but I feel like once they hit, I don't know, probably like 30, that 30 and up crowd, they've had a little more time to get established in a
Yeah,
career and have a little bit of savings and know what they're willing to waste or,
yeah, yeah,
willing to spend on a support act or just acts in general.
yeah, yeah. I think most of the tours I played were financed by the older people with money who
Yeah.
bought like just playing smaller shows here in Germany. People like there's people who buy like still buy CDs for example, and then they buy three, like one for the car, one for their friend, one for home. It's like, okay, cool, thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, so good
That,
people.
yeah. Like that's cool. I never thought about it like that with especially CDs because I'll buy a CD if there's no like other physical, well, if there's no vinyl, I'll buy a
Yeah,
CD. That's like my number two. But I never thought about like, oh, I'll buy CDs. Like my car now doesn't have a CD player.
yeah. No, now it's different, but yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely like CDs are definitely dying out, but there's, or at least here in my experience from touring in Germany, there's still a lot of people who have CD players in their car, apparently.
But no, I think a lot of people here still do also. I actually just read an article about CDs that was like um CD sales on the rise. And I was like, oh, what's that
Oh,
about? And
really?
they're like, well, yeah. So I look at it and they're like, oh, this CD that was released in 1993 sold for like $10,000. And I'm like, what?
But just because there isn't any other copy of it, or
I, I,
how does that?
they didn't disseminate on like
Okay,
why. I was just like absolutely astounded. Like, hold on, $10,000 for a CD that, in my mind, is probably still in production somewhere.
yeah, no idea how that works.
Yeah, me neither. Wild.
Yeah.
Are, are you a collector, like a collector of vinyl or CDs or anything?
I ran out of space, so not anymore. No, just a small flat nav, like limited space in my shelf. So Uh, like some stuff that's special to me, I'm gonna pick up. Um, but not really. I'm not really looking for stuff.
Okay.
It's just like space and money, and but it's more of a connection to a show or something like that. If I see a band I
Yeah.
really like, good show, and I like the new record, and then to support the band, I'll buy something, and that's more fun to me to have, like when I look through my vinyls, then have like, oh, okay, I bought this at that show and that was cool, and you have a connection to that, but I'm not like just buying the newest stuff from whoever.
Yeah.
It's more more
I
more of a live thing for me.
I could see that. I I prefer to get my stuff from live shows also, because then
Yeah,
I'm like, I didn't just buy a ticket. Like I'm helping a little bit further with this band that I like,
yeah, also that. Yeah,
you know. It's always I'm always like I tell my friends, like, make sure you guys get to the show early and see those opening bands. Like, but they're gonna be terrible. I'm like, they're not like
sometimes they're really good.
yeah. I had who was it? Decapitated was on tour here earlier this year, I think.
Yeah,
And this band Allegiant, who I've loved for a lot of years, was like that opening band. And I told a handful of people, and they're like, "We're going to the show. We'll be there later, because we don't want to miss Decapitated." I'm like, "Dude, get there early." They get there early, and like as Allegiant is playing, because those guys are phenomenal musicians, everyone's jaw is like on the floor. They're like, "Wow!" I said, "I told you, man." Like, go, don't miss those opening bands. You're gonna find some amazing music out there that'll blow your mind.
yeah, yeah. There's some. Yeah, I saw when I went to the Oranzi Pazuzu show, they were also supporting Solstafir, and I was mainly there for the support act, and also everybody went there. That was a good one.
It's always cool. What has been your like favorite band to go see live?
Uh, recently or
Just
overall?
overall.
Ah, so many.
I know. Like the hard
uh,
questions.
yeah. Do you know Color Haze by any
Mm-mm.
chance? German psych rock band. They that was one of my first proper live experiences, and that's always fun to see them live. Just like 20-minute long songs, and just and they played a venue in my hometown. I didn't know the band. A friend of mine got me into it, and they were like, "Yeah, come, we're gonna see Color Haze." I was like, "Yeah, okay, who's opening?" And he was like, "No one's opening. They play for 3 hours." I was like, "Yeah, sure, they're gonna play for 3 hours." And then they
They
really did
played
play
for
for
three
three
hours.
hours, and I think I fell asleep after 2.5. But that was a good that was a good experience. And whenever they come to Berlin, I'm gonna see them. Oranzi
Right
Pazuzu,
on. Okay.
again.
Yeah.
Like right now, probably my favorite band. Uh, and there's a band called Extra Life. Don't know if you heard of them.
Mm-mm.
Weird. I don't know, what is that? Medieval goth art rock.
Okay.
Hard to describe. And I saw them in Berlin recently, and they didn't do anything for like 10 years or something. And then all of a sudden, they had a new record out, and they were touring, and that's an amazing live band. That's like, the singer is amazing. Like, if you
I
can,
like how I like how you described that though. Medieval goth art rock. Like
yeah,
I gotta check that out. Like, what
yeah,
is that
check it out.
like?
It's hard to describe. It's wild, but it's cool. It's very, I don't know. Just listen to Extra Life, and like, every record is good.
Okay.
Check them out. It's, if you want to hear something weird and really cool.
I will do that. I stumbled on a band this year for me that I was listening to Blessed Black, who I absolutely love, and Fire Down Below came on, and I was like, "What the hell is this?" They're out of Belgium, and I'm listening to this new album, and I couldn't get enough of it. So I go back, and their whole discography, it's like 3 albums, is fucking phenomenal.
All right.
And they're doing their like first US show in about a month out in Vegas. I'm like, I'm going to that. Told my wife, like, I'm going to Vegas here. And she's like, for what? I'm like, I'm going to see this band. She goes, okay.
Yeah, got to do what you got to do.
Well, and funny thing, like, so I talked to the guys in Fire Down Below, like super cool guys. The band is great. Come to find out, Nick produced that last album they had.
Oh, yeah, that name sounded familiar. Okay,
I
don't
was
don't have to
like,
listen to that, but yeah, I think I remember him going to Belgium. I think,
yeah.
yeah,
I was like, oh, that's fucking like that. That's like it's
yeah,
cool
it's
for
a
you guys to have Nick like work on your album, but the album, like the dudes are such like fantastic musicians. Like, I don't know if you're into like the whole desert rock thing, but they are right in that fucking vein. And
yeah.
God, they are good.
Okay, yeah, then I'll have to give that another. I probably listened to some of it, but I don't have to have to admit I don't really remember right now.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, if it's anything like my day, you've got so much music coming at you all the time.
Yeah, I mean, it's still fun, but it takes me like as I get older, it takes me longer to get into music.
Yeah.
Like there was the new Opeth record came out recently.
Hmm.
Don't know if you heard that one.
Yep.
That it's just a lot going on. And like listening the first time was like, what was that? It was just so many, and then like vocal effects and like spoken word stuff, and with the whole concept of the record, it's just so much going on.
Yep.
And it took me like 2 or 3 spins, and now I'm like finding cool details here and there.
I
But
didn't know that.
definitely,
Yeah.
it's yeah. I don't know if it's just the probably not just the music. I think it's me getting older and like
It's a different
taking
appreciation for what's
taking
going
more
on.
time to process stuff.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah,
Yeah. There's a lot like that. I feel like there's a lot of albums now, or maybe I'm doing the same thing as you. The older I get, I'm just like bands that I absolutely adore come out with something. And I'm like, okay, I got to listen to that a couple of times or sit with it for a minute and really, okay,
yeah,
like I do like it, make that final decision. Like, yeah, it is good, or maybe I'll give this one away.
yeah. It's also I think like there's just more stuff in general compared to when I was a kid, where you had
Yeah.
like you. No, I'm sounding old. Like we didn't have Spotify or anything. You just had to go to the library to rent a CD and put that on your computer, and then you would listen to that. And so there was more time spent with the medium.
Yeah.
And now it's, oh, there's a new record coming out, and you just listen to it in the subway, and then you do something else and you forget about it, and then like back then I went home with the CD in my hand. It was like, okay, now I'm putting this on.
There was
That's kind
that
of,
goal in mind. Yeah.
yeah, just like spending more time with one record than I do now.
Yeah.
That is definitely another factor of it.
There was a lot more buildup then too, right? Like I remember when, there were like no CDs, so you go to the store and your choices were cassette and vinyl.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah, that's
man,
another thing. Yeah,
like find the coolest, like, oh, this one looks really cool. I'm gonna buy that one. And you get home and you're either like, man, that album was awesome, or oh my God, that was terrible.
yeah, yeah. Because now like you can just listen to it before,
Yeah, before, yeah,
almost for free, and decide then, and which is also cool. Like you can like it's easier to discover more music from another part of the world, but
yeah.
yeah, it's just a lot.
there definitely is. There's a lot more accessibility now, which is um, good and bad, I think.
Yeah.
Not you don't really have to seek anything out anymore. It just kind of comes to you, and you're like, oh, okay, like I do like that.
Yeah. I mean, there's still like the weirder, smaller bands that are really good who are just not like, I don't know, gonna make that much money with it that they can tour on a big scale.
Yeah,
Uh, but that's like recommendations are still a thing for me at least, from friends about records. And because it's rare that I go to a show where I don't know the band and uh, then I find out about them there and buy a record. It's usually like I know what's going on.
yeah,
So if there's people coming up to me with a record or people whose judgment I trust, that's always fun to discover new stuff. And then you
that's
find out
cool.
the band has been disbanded for like 5 years and they're not touring anymore. It's like, oh no, damn.
Shit, I'm late.
Yeah,
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 I love that. Like, man, sometimes you see those. I text my friends, dude, you gotta check out this band. Oh yeah, I know them. They broke up, years ago, and you're like, oh, dude,
yeah. I just got into them. Damn.
like, come on. So, as far as Elder goes, obviously you guys are doing the 10-year lore anniversary tours next year. Uh, are you guys working on new music for another album?
Yeah. Right now we actually recorded something. Jack came over a couple of weeks ago, and we recorded one track or like two tracks, kind of, just one thing, and that was kind of fun because the first one was pretty flashed out, and we just recorded that, and the second half of the song was more up in the air what we wanted to do with it. So we
Yeah,
spent like a week just on that, like overdubbing a ton of stuff and like trying stuff with the drums. That was fun. But that still has to be finished. And then Nick is writing some stuff. There's more stuff. Mike wrote some things, and right now I'm trying to learn some stuff, which is always fun because I get the demo from Nick with the programmed drums, and then I have to figure out like, are those tom hits? Is this the kick drum? Like, do I start it with the left hand, right hand? And but so far it's been all right. It's just some parts are a bit faster where you really have to practice to
yeah,
make them sound good. So that's going on, but we don't have studio time booked yet, so don't know exactly when we're going to record.
sure.
So, but
Still
there's
in the
things are
writing
moving.
process. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's that's super cool. That's super cool.
yeah, yeah. No, I like the figuring out stuff from because Nick writes. Uh, the drum part's always fun because it's different than I would write. Like from a feeling standpoint, like some stuff is like just where I would play around the guitar, like he programs some drums to play with the guitar, and then it's like the other way around with the bass, and that's a fun process for me going through the demos and figuring that out and just playing along to that just before you have to decide on one version of the fill,
Yeah,
just going through everything.
try. It's like okay, like that sounds really cool. I
Yeah,
just can't make that happen right in this spot.
yeah,
Oh
or
shit.
that would sound really good with like a double kick, but I don't have that in Elder, so I have to make it work somehow. Yeah.
Eh, Good times. So
Oh yeah.
what how long do you think it's going to take you to finish writing or just like no timeline at all?
Um, Nothing right now. I mean, the other guys like Nick and Mike, they have another band. They're going to be on tour in January, and after that, I think it's going to be just focus on that and see how fast we can get that done.
Mhm.
Um, but there's still like stuff to figure out, like where we want to record and like have a timeline for that, and then
Yeah.
like the things we want to do with the new song. yeah, so still a bunch of decisions to be made.
Sure. So the important question, is there a chance that there will be a new song like played out on tour?
On the next tour, you mean?
Yeah.
Probably not. We haven't really done that. Um, and it's hard to just play a 15-minute song with like odd time signatures and a ton of
Yeah.
layers uh, to people that don't know what's going, like that haven't heard the song before. Um, so with Elder, it might be better for people to listen to the record first and then go to the show, so they, or at least for the new stuff.
I could see
So
that.
I don't think we'll play the new song live.
All I'm doing
I
is
I don't think
inception
so.
here. That's
Yeah,
all it is. Just planting a seed.
yeah. Right now, I don't think so, but we'll see.
Yeah, no, I totally get it though, right? It's a little different when you bring out a new song that's like 2.5 or 3 minutes. Okay, we can shove this down your throat real quick or
Yeah,
whatever, and
yeah,
versus
and then for us, it's always figuring out how to handle the keyboard parts, or like, is the guitar playing the keyboard part there, um, and all of that. So you basically need the blueprint before you translate that to live
yeah,
to know what the goal is, what it should sound like, and then you try to get as close to that as possible. And I don't know how that would work, like just jamming a new song that hasn't been like properly recorded and everything.
properly recorded and
We'll
introduced,
see. Yeah, like having the whole version of it.
Yeah.
Um, we'll see.
Yeah. They're gonna open the show with like th 2 minutes of a brand new song and then go into the old stuff. Like, just kidding.
Yeah, probably not opening with the
No,
new
right?
song. That
That'd
would be
be funny.
dangerous. Yeah, there's oh, that would be rough. But I mean, maybe at some point. But I don't think it's
Maybe.
going to be the next tour.
No, no, I don't blame you at all. Uh,
Yeah.
all right, George, thank you. I appreciate you taking time out of your evening in Berlin to come and hang out and chat with me today.
Oh, sure. It's been a pleasure.
Hell yeah. So I think April, you guys are touring the States.
Yes. And then May in Europe.
Keep an eye out for Elder on the road. So I will see you. I'm trying to decide which show or shows I'm going to, but I'll see you at one of them somewhere.
All right.
All
Sweet.
right, cool.
Cool. See you there.
Yes, sir. Have a great night.
You too. Or have a good day.
Thanks. Day. Yeah. See ya.
Take care.